Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah.
All right. Regular season has wrapped up. Playoffs are around the corner. We'll be talking about Week 8 this post-game show. And then we'll be talking about the quarterfinals, the first week of playoffs. A lot of good matchups. Maybe some upsets we'll see. Like some upsets we saw this week. We'll be talking about that actually going into our first game. I'm joined this week by DJ, Davis, Jake, Joe. Joe's first time on this pod, so last regular season game week, but we got him here, so hopefully we'll see you in the next few weeks. But yeah, joined by some of my regular guys. We're gonna get into it, and of course, shout out 110 Grill, our sponsor, as always. We'll get right into it with our first matchup, and that is being A1 ASAP. I mean, people were saying this was matchup of the week, or sorry, of the season. People were waiting. It was matchup of the week, but matchup of the season. People were waiting for this one, and maybe not the outcome everyone expected. The outcome I expected, but I know a lot of guys were rocking with ASAP this game, but just didn't happen. A1 took this one 64-44. Crazy low scoring game from ASAP. They're usually close to 100 every game. Noah James just was kind of shut down this game, and that's ASAP's game plan when they don't really necessarily have another guy out there. Like I know they're missing Joe, but they didn't have Noah scoring 40 this week, so the win didn't come. And yeah, Hendel was on him all game. Hendel 21 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, and just I'd personally say he locked down Noah all game. I think the only points Noah had when H was necessarily on him were like second chance, offensive rebounds past a Noah 3-pointer. I think 12 of his points of his 17 came off of 3-pointers. So yeah, as a team, ASAP shot 35%. They're usually close to shooting 50 every week. But all around A1 just, were able to out hustle them. A1 was missing a few guys too, so it wasn't really a necessarily uneven matchup because I know ASAP only had 4, and they kind of got banged up throughout the game. But A1 I think was just from the get-go was just out hustling every play defensively, making stops. Like right off the bat, you could tell the energy was up, and H was, just going at Noah every single possession. We were vocal. Yeah. I'll go to DJ. I know you were on that court, so tell me what you saw from A1 this game.
Yeah, I just saw A1 just their intensity, their drive, they're just locking down ASAP, just overpowering them on defense and offense. ASAP plays a lot slower of a game than A1, which was what you said last week. ASAP really hasn't played a team as intense as A1, and that really showed this week.
Yeah, I mean, I was very confident. I know people said or were questioning that we had a game. I said we had a game plan. Some people were like, "What kind of plan can you really bring into a team that's 7-0 and killing all these other teams?" And we kind of just looked at intensity and that Hendel Noah matchup. Hendel, I've been saying, was MVP all season, Defensive Player of the Year all season, and Noah and Hendel are both up there for the top guys in the league, and one of them stood out a little more than the other this game. So, Joe, I'll go right to you. Talk about that Noah Hendel matchup. What did we see from that?
Yeah, so I wasn't exactly on the court, so I didn't see the full game, but it seemed
Yeah.
like they weren't giving Noah shots inside, which really crippled his game a bit. When you look at it, 4 of his 5 made shots were from the 3-point line, so couldn't really get anything going inside. I think they just were forcing him to pass it off to his teammates, throwing doubles at him at a few points. I saw that from the other court at points, but 6 turnovers on his end kind of was a big thing that took him out in that game. I still like ASAP's chances in the playoffs. I like Noah James as a player. They just need more guys to show up. They didn't have a lot of their team. As you said, they didn't have Joe Secatore playing. They didn't have Shaq Ardrey playing either, and both of them are big parts of their team. But A1's just deep. They've got players who can score from every single position on the court. And then I just think it's going to be – I'd be shocked if this isn't the matchup for the finals, to be quite honest, if we're not seeing this.
I mean, yeah, I think ASAP now has, been a little awoken by playing A1. Maybe caught off guard. They weren't prepared fully, but I think next time we see them, it's going to be a closer matchup. I don't think it's going to be 20 points. I think this game, even at the end, could have gone further if it wasn't called early. But yeah,
Yeah, I'll hop in real quick with one
yeah,
more thing. I
yeah,
think big thing for A1 was they got their first loss ever in this league the week before to the Reapers. There was no chance they were going to lose 2 in a row after that. And it seemed pretty obvious that they were going to come back with some type of fire in them after that.
No, yeah, definitely. Especially with a statement win. It didn't matter if we were playing 0-8 team or an 0-7 team or a 7-0 team. We wanted nothing but to win. So that definitely helped us. Before we move on, Davis, I'll go to you. Talk about how does ASAP bounce back? They can get their guys back. I know they have a few injuries, so they might not have a full team for the entire playoffs. So how do you bounce back from your first loss coming in the last week, right before like your biggest time, which is the playoffs? Talk about how the team comes back from this.
I mean, yeah, you just gotta kind of regroup as a team, figure out what went wrong, and just kind of like, I mean, if you're a teammate of Noah James, just make sure you capitalize, hit open shots. It's kind of just like also slow it down too if you get doubled. Just but yeah, I feel like as a group, we should meet up and just talk over what went wrong and just come back stronger as ever.
No, yeah, I mean, you just got to learn from your losses, and ASAP's a very, experienced team, and I definitely see them coming back stronger in the first week. I can't see them losing in the first round. So, yeah, I think that about wraps it up for that game. We'll go on to our next one. A close one here. It wasn't close the entire game, but at the end, it definitely became a nail biter. That was Run It Up FTG. And some crazy, crazy stats for Run It Up. 43 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists from Tack Gomes. One of the top guys in the league. I think top 5, top 3 for MVP race. Yeah, crazy game from him. They needed every point from everyone this game. Speaking of points, 39 from Sean Yard. I've been calling him out on the pod, but he definitely stepped up this game when his team needed him. Marcus Collins, 20 points. I think he shot a perfect 8 for 8. I know he left in that second half. He had to leave, so maybe that's why that comeback kind of happened. But I've been calling them the big 3 this entire season, and they have a combined 102 points from the 3 of them this game. That's insane. They did everything they could to get this win, and they barely got it. They've been struggling these last 2 weeks against these 1-6 and 7 teams, and I've been kind of calling them out for struggling against these kind of teams that don't have as many wins in the league. But I think these teams still can pull up upsets, so I'm not going to discredit this victory, especially FTG. I think they're a much better team than the last 2 they played. So yeah, I think this was definitely a great game to end the season off for Run It Up. You got your big 3 doing everything. And I think it's a great warm up. We'll talk about it later, but this is going to be the next, for next week. This is also their first round matchup is FTG Run It Up for the playoffs. So this was a kind of game that both teams were studying each other, feeling out the other team. So we're going to see this matchup next week too, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Maybe Run It Up is going to know what to do better, but I think FTG was also game planning for this one, so they didn't really care about winning or losing. But I know Run It Up wants to keep a better record, so I think FTG is going to have a good game plan next week though. And speaking of FTG, Ethan Austin, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, doing everything he could. Had a few turnovers, but when you're balancing that with assists, it kind of cancels out. Denzel Lyles, 26 points. It's good to see him coming back. I know he's missed a few games, but the past few weeks he's shown up. He's been doing good. Definitely a player to look at for FTG in next week. And then member of this pod last session, Trent Washington, 19 points, shooting 9 for 9, 6 rebounds. Shout out Trent. He's always been talking smack on the pod, saying that he could drop 20 any given night in this league, and he backed it up this week against a really good team and run it up. So shout out Trent, we love to see it. Jake, I'll go to you. You didn't talk last game, so we'll get back right to you. We'll talk about next week later on at the end. So kind of talk about this game. Talk about FTG and how they maintained that comeback in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, FTG's had an interesting season. They've kind of gone up and down, but lately I think we've kind of seen them take a turn. And I think that definitely starts with Ethan Austin. I think he's definitely one of those guys who you can just look to as a leader, and he's just someone you can kind of always rely on. But as you were kind of saying, I think Denzel Lyles is kind of the difference maker for him. I think he's kind of that extra oomph that they need to kind of take down some of these tougher teams. Because I think you're always going to get a good performance out of Shane Perico. I mean, he can shoot very well from behind the arc, and you know what you're going to get out of Ethan Austin. And I mean, if you can get what you did out of Trent again with 19, that's going to be great too. So, I mean, I think they're going to be looking good going into the playoffs. And as we saw, it was a tight game, so can't really dwell on the loss. I think you got to look at the positives from this one, and there's a lot to take away.
Yeah, if those guys, Denzel, Shane, and Ethan, do what they do, I think they're relying on that fourth guy, Trent. That could be Terrence. That could be Derek Stone. That could be Zach. If one of those four guys is dropping 15 to 20 points for you, that's definitely the game changer there. And I think this could be a FTG upset next week. It honestly could be. It's definitely going to be run up favorites, especially if Marcus is there the entire game. He just adds a whole nother level to run up's game, especially with their defense. I think he's very good in the paint. But this is definitely just the feel out game. Both teams kind of making a game plan. Maybe FTG wasn't showing everything they got. Maybe they told Derek and Zach to stay home. You know, we want to surprise them next week. You know, who knows? Ethan's always doing these crazy things. He could be game planning. Joe, I'll go to you. Talk about that big three on running up. I mean, they've had a great season, and Marcus hasn't even been there all season. But, I mean, he's been killing it with them, and 102 points. I'll have to do some studying, but I think that might be the most from a three in this league. So go for it. In Massachusetts.
Yeah, it all starts with Tack Gomes. He is insane. His 3-point shot, he just can hit from anywhere, it seems. He went 6 of 10 from 3 that game. And a lot of his points were ethical buckets. They weren't from the free throw line until that fourth quarter. He ended up going 7 of 8, but he didn't have a free throw attempted until the third quarter. But the big thing about their big three is number 3 himself, Marcus Collins. He is just massive for their game plan and what they can do. He shuts down the paint. He makes the scoring on offense a lot easier because he can grab boards. And I believe he left around halftime. At halftime, they were leading by 12. And then you look at the third quarter, when he was gone, they got outscored 25-14. So he needs to be there the entire game. Believe he had work, so it's a pretty fair reason not to be there that second half. But for the next week, if they want to get the win, move on one more round, they need the big three there. And I kind of feel bad, Sean Yard. I had yelled that he had 5 fouls to the ref, not to him directly, so he fouled out a couple plays later because he didn't realize he had 5. But as long as he stays in the game, they're not playing 4-on-3. They're going to have a very successful day, I believe. FTG obviously could come back. Ethan Austin, he is a lot better offensive than his size would seem. His offensive ability with grabbing rebounds is huge too. He's able to score inside. 3-point shot hasn't really fallen that much this year. I believe he's shooting high 20%, like 28%, something around there. But he's able to grab boards. Before this week, crazy enough, he was the leading rebounder for the league. And then now he's down to number 3, but still being one of the shorter guys in the league, grabbing that many boards, being able to score in the paint. He has an all-around game. I could see FTG taking this one. It matters, as you guys talked about with Trent Washington, how he does, as well as if Terrence Gallo. Both them shot perfect games in this week, and they got it close, but you don't know if they're going to get a perfect game next week, so it could change it completely. I would personally say run it up is hard to not pick because Tack is just a guy who can close out games. Anytime they need a clutch shot, it seems like he's there to get one. He stops runs. He's able to play defense. We talked about his offensive output, but when you look at his defensive side as well, he had 2 blocks, 3 steals. He averages around 4 blocks per game. He's able to get it done on both ends, and I just think it's hard to pick a team that it's hard to pick a team to lose that has those three type of players who can score from anywhere and provide offensive and defensive capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, Tat Gomes is that guy. Sean Yard's been needing some help since last season. Tat Gomes is that perfect guy to help him. Sean Yard putting up 39 though, can't overlook that. Yeah, obviously fouls is a problem, but when you're losing Marcus, it forces the rest of the team to be more aggressive and kind of it kind of throws you up for a loop when you lose a guy that was playing defense against these guys, and you just got to start jumping at some shots, taking some fouls. So yeah, if Marcus can stay a full game, I know like obviously we're not the NBA, so you don't see Jason Tatum leaving the game to go catch his 9 to 5, but we do need to see Marcus there for a full game to be confident in a run up win. Obviously, I can't blame anyone for not being able to do that. So if they know that he's going to leave going into that week, they need to set up their game plan to be up 12 or even more at half, just like this week, in order to keep that lead, even if they think they're going to lose it a little on defense on the defensive end. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
well, I
think
just want to say one more thing. What they
yeah,
really
go
need for
for it.
next week too is just more of their bench to show up. Once Sean ended up getting taken out or fouled out, excuse me, it brought him down to having to play 3-on-4. So they need some extra guys, especially if Marcus can't be there the whole game.
No, yeah, definitely. Casey's always there. He's always stepping up and playing aggressive. So shout out him. He needs to show up there along with everyone else. So yeah, I know they. Sorry, excuse me. Jeez, they lost a few guys. We haven't seen a couple guys since like week 3, so I'm not sure if they're coming back. They need it. But if Run It Up can figure out their roster, then I think I might stick with them next week. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that. We'll go into our next game. Bigger differences from these last 2 games. This one's the Reapers versus the Squad. Reapers took this one 80-52. Yala Smith kind of just was a mismatch all game for him. No one really on the squad was giving him a contested shot down there in the paint. He had 33 points, 13 rebounds. Carlos Bermudez-Glean, this might be the craziest stat of the week. 25 points, 12 steals. Dude, I think he went from having, I think, 2 steals to having 12 steals, which literally spikes him to, I think, top at least 8 steals this season, which is insane. He's played 2 games. He was an all-star last season. He averaged, I think, 4 steals. That if he had a full season this session, he'd be averaging 6, 7 steals, because last season was his first one, and so he wasn't really used to the 8.5. Took him a minute to get used to it, and then he kind of started showing up in those later games. They made it to the finals with him. But when he's there, it's a game changer, dude. You got a guy stealing the ball 12 times. That's 12 possessions he's taking from the other team himself. Smallest guy in the court, honestly, the Reapers' most dangerous guy. You got Yala, tallest guy in the court, and you got Reapers kind of counteracting that with themselves by giving you the smallest and the tallest guy to go up against. But it works out for them, and right now, I'm putting the Reapers, y'all might call me crazy. I'm putting the Reapers over ASAP. If the Reapers have a full team, dude, this team is crazy. They've made it to the finals twice, and this last couple weeks they've been looking like the best team out there. I know they beat A1 last week, only team ever to beat A1. A1, we were missing guys, but Reapers were missing Isaac this week, and they still were completely dominating them. For Squad, usual leading the way, Musa 22 points. Nothing was really going super well for the Squad. Very slow start, and it kind of just went away from there. Reapers held on to that lead and didn't really have to do too much in that second half to kind of contain that lead. So yeah, not too much to analyze here, but definitely a what if Isaac shows up next week. DJ, I'll go to you. Talk. We've been praising the Squad these last couple weeks, but I think they just faced a hungry Reapers that's ready for the playoffs, and the Squad kind of got shut down. How do they lift their head up looking into this next week?
Past couple of weeks they've been playing pretty good. I'd say that they've been playing better than a couple of the other teams that they've got the same record as. But this is that OG Reapers team that we thought we were going to see all season, and they've started to pull it together last week and this week. So going into the playoffs, you might be right. They could be above ASAP. It's not a crazy thing to say that. It's not ridiculous to say that. But yeah, if the Reapers just hold up like this, they could go all the way back. We get another finals rematch.
Well, I think how the bracket's looking, we might get that finals rematch in the second round, depending how it goes. So we'll talk about that. Davis, before we move on from this game, talk about the Reapers. Talk about Yala. Talk about their options. You know, they didn't have Isaac, but they're still winning by almost 30. Talk about the Reapers.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Yala Smith plays like this, like when he actually just purely dominates, he's nearly unstoppable, and I feel like that's just really how the Reapers can, win games like this. I mean, if they have Yala going off, I really feel like they are nearly unstoppable. And then you have Bermuda's Glean. I mean, out of nowhere, it's only a second game of the season, and they're getting 12 steals in the game. That's insane. That's definitely going to be a huge X factor too if he comes into the playoffs, which is just a huge addition there. And you add that with Kevin Views, who was a former MVP at one point, and still, he still has it. And Isaac Lane, it's a very dangerous team right there. Could definitely be an upset. Could make a deep run for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a Kevin, Yala, Isaac, Carlos lineup with a lot of defensive, gritty guys coming off the bench. That's a perfect team. That's what you want. You want your bench players to be gritty. You got Quentin Petty and Jamal Banks coming off the bench. Some of their bigger guards are coming off the bench too. It's just crazy mismatches for their starting lineup, and then when you're trying to settle in, they bring in one of these bigger, more aggressive guys to get 4 rebounds, a block, and go right back to the bench, and they shut down you for like 3 defensive stops, get their starters some rest, and then they come right back in. It's a tough team to beat. I'm looking at them as the number 2 team right now. I think if they met the same ASAP that A1 met this week, I think Reapers are winning that too by a few points. So yeah, that'll wrap up that game. We'll go on to last one, B2A Top Dogs. B2A took this one by a lot, 101-70. Top Dogs, their roster's thin. They're playing with 5 guys out there. Jared Hansen doing what he could, 31 points, leading the way with points and assists, 6 assists. B2A was kind of just having fun out there. I don't know if this is exactly the game you want right before the playoffs, getting used to beating up on like a team that isn't really fighting back. Gio Neville, though, I think I said this last week, he knows how to take these mismatched teams and kind of run away with a win. And that's exactly what he did. 31 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists. And then Amani Weaver, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. He had a triple-double. I know Shy and him usually argue with each other jokingly during the game, saying they're not passing this and that, but Amani got his triple-double, so what can we really say, And then Samaj and Donnie Smith, 2 guys we don't really talk about too often for B2A, dropping 20 each. Samaj, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Donnie was throwing down crazy dunks all game. I think he had a 360. He had a windmill. He was doing everything. That was a fun game for him. It's cool to see these guys that aren't really their top scorers doing the most out there. So not too much to analyze from this one, honestly. It was a bit of a blowout. Top Dogs, it sucks, but I really think if they had Cody and they had Zach Green and even some of their guys that got injured in the earlier part of the season, I think this team is honestly like a middle of the pack team, but a lot of good teams this season. So their spark that they saw after that win against the squads kind of dimmed a little. It's going to be a very tough matchup. They got ASAP week 1. ASAP coming off their first loss. It's not, saw what happened when A1 come out of their first loss. So Top Dogs, you better lock in if you want to make that a close one. So Joe, I'll go to you. talk about B2A. You know, they have a very tough matchup next week. What do they take away from this game, if anything at all, or should they be looking at previous games to kind of grow from?
I think what they can take away from this game is they need to focus on the two as much as they can. When you look at their shooting splits, they shot 35% from three, but they shot 80% from two. They were making almost everything inside, everything mid range. Amondi Weaver, who's great at leading the team, he's a great point guard for them. I don't know if there's exactly positions in this league, but if there were, he would be their point. He brings it up seemingly every time. And then when you have a game like that from Gio, 75% from the field, 15 of 20, he ended up going from two. He went 15 of 18, so he was hitting almost every single shot. And while this game obviously is not going to be the one that they really use to test themselves for top dogs, it was just outmatched every position for athleticism. I think that they can use some positives from this game where they can rely on that athleticism against their next matchup. They can try using it to get to the paint, use it on defense. Their defense was excellent that game as well. For the top dogs, going to switch to their side for a second, they kind of, I think, need to switch their identity of living and dying by the three completely, because they'll be doing that the first quarter. Almost every first quarter this season, they have been doing well. They were leading the first quarter of this game. They were doing a great job. But then they stop trusting themselves on threes. They start trying to use athleticism. And most of their guys are smaller than the other team's guys, so it doesn't work out for them. They get tired too quick. And then when they're putting up threes, they're kind of just jacking them up. They don't have the energy to fully get their legs up and make a good shot. So for them, they need to commit to being a three-point team, I would say. If they do that, anything could happen in the playoffs. I don't fully see them winning, but I think it would be a lot better of a game than otherwise.
I mean, 3-point is the game changer. It has been since it got introduced into the NBA. I mean, a 15-point lead can just diminish in 3 plays. So it's definitely a scary thing when a team can shoot as well as top dogs, and they have so many shooters and so many options. I think all of them can shoot. Besides my boy Kyle, he doesn't like shooting. I'll shout him out because he's my boy, so I can say that. Yeah, B2A without Shy Hicks and their point guard, Anthony Cabrera, he's usually one taking up the ball. So that's probably why we saw Amondi take it up a little more. But when he took it up, we got a triple-double from him. So, you know, maybe that's what they use next week. Seeing Amondi kind of breaking out of his just attack kind of role he has on offense. And maybe Samaj and Donnie getting involved a little more, maybe spreading the ball. Like I said last season, picking like an all-star from this team is so hard. A bunch of these guys could be an all-star. You got Shai, Amondi, Gio, Anthony. Personally, I think the most fleshed out is Gio, but he's had a season to play in this league, so he's used to it. I think he just knows how this game works a little better than the other guys. But if we give them another season, who knows? All these guys are great. A bunch of them are all-stars. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I do think you made a good point about Cabrera coming back next week as well. I do think that they found something with Amondi, though. If they can use him as a big point guard so that every position has size, use Cabrera to come in, kind of give him some rest, use him to run the floor, I think that could be a great strategy for the next round.
Oh yeah, Cabrera defensively is also a really good piece for them. So if he gets to like kind of focus on, stopping fast breaks and not necessarily being the guy that has the ball every time, it could definitely work out. So B2A has a tough matchup, but I want to see what their game plan is. They got some guys that have been playing for a while now, some newer guys, so they're kind of getting into their rhythm. It's going to be a tough one though. DJ, you've been hard on B2A. They know you. They know you've been talking about them, but you can't deny this was a good game from them. I know it was against the second to last seed, but talk about B2A a little. Talk about top dogs.
Yeah, B2A doing what they do best, beating on the worst teams. That's really it. There's nothing much to say about it. All I'm gonna say is we'll be talking about how your season went next week.
Oh my God. Yeah, B2A, you've made an enemy out of DJ. You guys wanted it though. I think week 4 you called him out for saying something little, so he's been taking that and running with it all season. But I'm interested to see that matchup next week. I think all the matchups are really good next week. So we're actually going to go right into that. We'll wrap up that game. We'll go into our playoff matchups. And with that, we got to shout out 110 Grill one last time for this pod, one last time for the regular season of this pod. And I'll make a little analogy here. For when you go to 110 Grill, you sit down, you get your appetizer, you get your main course, and then you get your dessert. Our quarterfinals, that's our appetizer. Semifinals, that's our main course, and then for dessert, we got that finals. Yeah, crazy analogy, but I had to make it, and I think it works. So for our first quarterfinals week, we're looking at A1 versus Squad. They're at the top of the bracket, and then it's B2A Reapers, the 4 and 5. A1's the 1, Squad's the 8. B2A is 4, Reapers 5. So the winner of that game plays the winner of A1 Squad. And then for our 3 and 6 matchup, we got Run It Up versus FTG again. We just saw that this week, so it was a close one. That's going to be a good one to watch. And then for our 2 and 7 matchup, we got Team ASAP versus Top Dogs. Winner of that playing the winner of Run It Up, FTG. We'll kind of go game by game. We'll pick our winners. We'll have everyone pick their winners. Obviously, we'll start with A1 Squad. Got to go A1 for me. I mean, I'm always going to pick A1 no matter who we're playing. We could be playing the Celtics, and I'm picking A1. Jake, give me A1. I'll let you do a little breakdown of why you think. I just said give me A1. Jesus, I was getting ahead of myself. Give me who you think's going to win. Maybe it's A1. Maybe it's the Squad. Give me a little breakdown of why you think that, and then I'll go to the other guys. You guys got to give me your winners. You don't really have to break it down totally.
Yeah, no, I mean, shout out 110 Grill, first off. Appreciate all they do for us. But I will have to
course.
go with A1 on this one. I think just the performance I saw this week from Hendel, from Darwin, and even the performance from Angel, which I think kind of goes a little underappreciated. I just don't think there's a team that can play up to that level. Like the kind of fast pace you guys can play with, it's very hard to keep up with, and it just gets tiring to defend. And I think at the end of the day, it's you guys don't really have a weakness. Like I was kind of talking about with Michael the other day, there's really no weak spot on A1. There's not really like something you can game plan for, so it's a tough opponent, but I'm gonna go with A1.
I mean, shout out Angel though. Thank you for bringing him up. He got brought in because Dante, obviously, with his injury, we had to add someone, so we added Angel, who was All-Star last season. I think so All-Star last season, champion last season, key member of A1. He brings a totally different game. When we are without him, we just lose that intensity in the paint, especially on offense and defense. And that's what we're missing him and Ale against the Reapers, our 2 most physical guys against a really physical team. So that's how that matchup, I think, kind of fell out of our hand. We were missing Angel and Ale. Joe, give me the winner. If you want to give a little bit quickly about why you think so, go for it. We can kind of go past it though quickly if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna say A1. Just the depth is too much. Angel is a massive point. The one loss was without him. He just can lock down the paint, as you said, offensively, defensively. He can do it, lock it down defensively, and score in the paint offensively. Is what I mean to say. I think that explains it all. Everyone can score.
And if we got Hendo playing that same defense that he played against Noah, against like Diakite Musa, it's going to be tough for Squad to even score. They were struggling to score against the Reapers in the first quarter. It's going to be tough for them to score in every quarter, I think, this game. Davis, go for it. Who's your winner?
Yeah, I'm also going with A1. I mean, I don't really have too much to add because everyone else kind of already said what I had to say. But I will say though, for like the Squad, I think they're way better than the record shows. Like they're not like a 1-7 team. I feel like I don't think it'll be like super lopsided as everyone thinks it is. It might be, in my opinion, I think it might be a closer game than expected at least. I think they'll put up a fight, but I'm definitely gonna go with A1 though.
Oh yeah, we definitely want the best from Squad. We don't want an easy game. It's more fun when it's a closer game. So Squad's gonna give it everything they got. They got guys who've been in this league for 3 seasons, so they know what the playoffs brings and they know the intensity they need. So it's gonna be interesting to see what guys step up for the Squad. DJ, give me your winner.
Yeah, give me A1. This is going to be like the Harlem Globetrotters picking 4 people out of the crowd to play a game against.
That's crazy. That's a crazy way to put it, but I can't disagree. A1's winning this game. We're locked in, and we're not looking past the squad either. We're locked into this week, and that's the key, I think, to all these guys. Like, don't overlook the top dogs, FTG, the squad. I know they're the bottom 3 teams, but all of them are sneaky, and you can't look past any team. You got to stick with your the matchup at hand. So A1's locked in. We're not looking ahead. We're looking at one game at a time, and we're taking out the squad next week. I got to say it, we are. We'll go on to our next one. ASAP top dogs. ASAP the 2, top dogs 7. ASAP's coming off their first loss. Top dogs. I've heard rumors that they might be missing a guy or two, so it's going to be even tighter of a lineup for top dogs. So, you know, thoughts and prayers for top dogs, but it's going to be an ASAP win coming off their first loss. I know Z and Noah got banged up in the A1 game a little, so they were kind of slow. I think they play in Rhode Island too, so let's hope they rest up for the playoffs and they're ready for the playoffs. Because if they're missing Noah, then top dogs, is a scary team to not have Noah against. But if Noah's there, I mean, nothing they can do really. They had a fun season, Shout out, they started with a free agent team mostly, so a bunch of guys coming together to play basketball, and they came out with a win. So I got to respect their win. But I'm sticking with ASAP. I don't think they can lose 2 in a row, just like A1 couldn't lose 2 in a row. So, Jake, give me your thoughts. I'll go to you, and then Joe, you can do a little more in depth of a reason why you're picking your winner. So, Jake, give me your winner first.
Yeah, I'm going with Team ASAP in this one. I think after that tough loss, there's no way that they're gonna lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, no way. Joe, give me a little bit in depth. Top dogs ASAP.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be ASAP. ASAP. They have the guys around Noah usually. As long as they show up and as long as they're healthy, they should win this game easily. What I will say is, do not be shocked if Top Dogs lead after the first quarter and then lose by 20 plus, because they have great first quarters this season. It's just they can't get it going once they start getting tired. They don't have the depth. They don't have the athleticism for their team. But if they're committing to the 3, they're hitting their shots. They're giving Jared Hansen a chance in the first quarter. Do not be shocked if they're leading, but they're going to lose pretty bad, I think. ASAP is just too good. Noah James is not going to have 2 off games back to back. And the rest of his guys, if Noah is having a little bit of a struggling time, they're going to step up this game, I think. It's like you said, A1's not going to lose 2 in a row. ASAP's not going to lose 2 in a row. I believe that firmly.
There you have it. Davis, ASAP, top dogs. Who's winning?
Yeah, I'm also going with Team ASAP. I feel like they're just too overpowered for top dogs. And you said that top dogs might even miss a player or two, so they could be playing with like 4 players maybe. Like that's not a good sign at all. I feel like they get tired easily. Jared Hansen has to be like the main scorer, and once he's tired, the other options aren't as consistent. So it's just kind of they become stagnant and just kind of trail off. So and even if you also said that Noah James might be banged up, so even if he doesn't like play, I'd still be confident picking ASAP. To be honest, I just got left for top dogs, but yeah, I'm going with ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, we got love for top dogs, but if one of those guys that aren't showing up is Jared, dude, Joey's gonna be having a rough night. We might see a 30 bomb from Joey, but he's gonna be on the auction tank after the game. It's gonna be a tough one. DJ, give me your winner.
Yeah, it's like everyone said, ASAP's not going to drop 2 in a row, especially against top dogs, so it's going to be ASAP.
Yeah, as I thought, ASAP sweep. These next 2 matchups we're going to talk about are definitely the closer ones that we might have different opinions on. We'll go run it up FTG, the 3 versus 6. Maybe not so much a 6 seed for FTG. I think they're better than that, but I think this is more of like a 4-5 kind of matchup we'd see. But yeah, much closer than I think the seeds say it is. But it's a rematch from this week, a 4-point difference. Run-Up's got questionable roster attendance, so if FTG has their full squad and Run-Up maybe doesn't, FTG could look to win this one. Jake, just give me who you're thinking. It's a close one though.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think it's going to be a close one, but for some reason, I just feel like FTG is kind of playing with nothing to lose. I think that's kind of a dangerous factor. So I'm going to take FTG.
All right, Joe. Joe, give me who you got.
Can you come back to me in 1 second? I'm just doing a little bit of math to make 1 point. So
Yeah, don't worry. Davis, you talk to us. Go a little in depth. Give Joe some time.
Yeah. Let's see. So I when I was on the show a few weeks back, thinking about how I said that FTG could be, dangerously good team, that they could be like a top 4 team, but I don't know. After what I saw against them versus running up, yesterday, I like running up a lot more. To be honest, I feel like FTG. I don't know. They put their heads down a little too much when they were during that game. I feel like they got frustrated easily. Running up kind of ran away with it. There was one player, I won't call out names, but like one of the FTG players wasn't running back on defense when it was kind of when like in the fourth quarter. It was like come on, that's I don't know. I feel like with just like that effort, I feel like running up is just more poised. But maybe I hope FTG can prove me wrong there. But I'm picking a run up there. I also really like the big three too, and Casey Key could also go off anytime too. So
Yeah,
I'm picking them.
yeah. That big three. I mean, it's a question. Can this big three score 100 points again? And I definitely think they can. Tack doesn't seem like anybody's really there to stop him. Besides that week 2 matchup against A1, but maybe we'll see that later. Maybe if Run It Up makes it to the finals, we could see a Run It Up A1 finals, which ended in a buzzer beater. That'd be a good matchup to see in the finals. But yeah, I think H was able to stop Tack a little bit, and since that game, Tack's just been unleashed, and he doesn't want to get locked down again, and he's been showing out every game, 43 points. I mean, you got to do some defensive planning if you're FTG to stop him. Joe, you ready?
Yep, I'm good now.
Go
So
for it.
I'm still going to go with run up just because I can't take a team that had, or I can't not take Tack in this game. I think he's going to have a massive game. First game of the playoffs. He shows up whenever the pressure is on and the lights are turned up a little bit. But what I will say is FTG, their chances are very realistic to win this game. When you look at their stats, they have the exact opposite problem that the top dogs have. Top dogs don't really rely on the three enough. FTG relies too much on it. They shot 50% of their shots from three-point land last time. They made 33% of them. Their shots from two, they made 84% of. They need to focus on the twos more. They have more athleticism than they realize. They have a good amount of size. If you're shooting 84% from the 2-point inside the 2-point arc, or inside the 3-point arc, I guess I should say, in the 2-point range, whether it's layups or mid-range, you should be focusing on that a lot more. They shouldn't have shot 36 shots from three and then 37 shots from two. I think if they focus a lot more on the mid-range and getting to the rim, they can score at will, and it'll be a much closer game. They need to stop living and dying by the three. Exact opposite of the top dogs, I would say.
Yeah, when Denzel Lyles was dunking on them. We'll see in the top plays. He had some crazy dunks on Run It Up, but look at Terrence Gallo. He doesn't shoot the three. So if we want to see more twos from them, get the ball to him. No one's jumping on Run It Up besides Marcus, I think. Casey jumps, but I just think defensively Marcus is there to stop what's going on in the paint. But if he's not there in that second half, look to Derek Stone, look to Terrence Gallo, those guys that don't really take the threes that much, and focus around them. Denzel attacking the paint was so successful this game. I think that's something to keep an eye out on. So, DJ, we'll go to you. Pick your winner for this one, and then we'll go on to our last matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to take FTG. Like Joe said, if they just attack the hoop like that, then they got a real shot against beating Run It Up. They got Ethan Austin, the mastermind. He's cooking something up for next week. So don't be surprised if FTG comes out with a win this week.
Yeah, this is such a hard one to pick. I've been kind of hard on Run It Up all season. They've been listening, so I know they know that. And FTG, my boy Ethan, I got my boy Trent on there, Terrence, all the guys they're cool with me. It's hard to pick against them, but I think I got to go with Run It Up. If they have their full roster, it's a hard team to beat. but I want to see FTG win. But I think for the sole fact that I've been tough on running up all season, I have to go with them this game. So I'll stick with that. We'll then go on to our final one, and that's, I think, definitely a hard one to pick as well. B2A Reapers. Reapers surprisingly a 5 seed. They're playing like a 2 seed out there these last couple weeks. But yeah, I am gonna just say it right off the bat. I'm going Reapers. If that full team shows up, I don't think ASAP's beating them. So that's no disrespect B2A, but I'm looking at them at like they're a top team in this league. So yeah, I'm sticking with Reapers. Carlos against B2A, I think is just gonna be a problem. So if he's there, look out for that. Yeah, if Isaac shows up, it's going to be tough. There's some good matchups defensively with B2A, but I think the Reapers hustle a lot in this league, so it's going to be a tough matchup. And I think Reapers are going to come out on top. Jake, give me what you're thinking about it, though.
Yeah, I think if we see a Reapers team that's fully equipped and everyone shows up, I don't see them losing. I think it could definitely be close, and if B2A plays their game, they can kind of get in their heads a little bit. But if the Reapers have everyone that they have, I think they take this one.
All right, Joe, go for it.
Yeah, I first week of the season, I thought the Reapers were going to be 2, maybe 3 seed at first. Then people stopped showing up for their bench. I really like that people are showing up now. I would take the Reapers. I think that when you combine just a couple of their players together, you mentioned earlier, they have one of the tallest players in the league and one of the shortest players in the league. And then they have a few guys who can hit 3-pointers, play defense in between there. They've got a well-constructed roster that's unique to them as well. I really like Amandi Weaver is the problem. I really like some of the players on B2A, but I will say the Reapers have my vote for this week.
No, yeah, there's a lot of guys on B2A. I don't think they have that. I can't say they don't have a leader. I think Geo leads them really well, but you look at Run It Up, they don't really have like that Tat Gomes or that Hendel or that Noah kind of guy. B2A has so many options that it's just hard to make a game plan that works against a team that's this well defensively. Especially if they're game planning too. If Reapers go into this without a game plan, some of their guys don't show up. B2A is taking this one, I think. But if Yala Smith is doing what he does, Carlos doing what he does, Kevin doesn't even have to be dropping 20. He can be dropping 15, and they'll still be good, I think. So, yeah, Davis, give me what you think.
Yeah, I'll add to the Reapers vote. I really like what BTA's been doing, but now that Reapers is kind of turning it up now towards the end of the season, I feel like that momentum will continue to carry through this first round matchup. And I also like what you said about B2A. I mean, they don't have a set in stone leader like the other teams, which might come to hurt them. But I think it'll be definitely a close game though, and especially if y'all is off a little bit, then B2A definitely has a legit chance to take this one. But I will stick with the Reapers.
Yeah. Reapers are hard to bet against. Joe, did you have something to say? Or?
Yeah, I just want to throw in one caveat because I realize there's on that should be said too. For this matchup, B2A has one kind of trait that could take them over the edge, and that's the fact that their trash talking kind of can go on the entire game while their team stays calm. The Reapers in the past have gotten taken apart when they get in their head too much. It was a reason that they struggled, I believe, game 3 and game 4, right around that area of the season. So if the Reapers are in their head, if B2A is able to get them to get mad at each other on the team, B2A has a really good chance to win this one. It's going to be a lot of mental warfare out there, I would say.
No, this definitely going to be an aggressive, loud matchup. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be the most entertaining from these first weeks, that and FTG and Run Up. So, DJ, give me what you're thinking. I know you're thinking something.
Yeah, full Reapers team wipes the floor with B2A. I just don't think that they can get past their defense if they're all there for this game. So give me the Reapers.
Yeah, I mean, that Reapers is just like I said, this full lineup they've gotten these last few weeks is just looking unstoppable. If they were on the other side of the bracket, we might be seeing a second season in a row of Reapers A1 in the finals, a third season in a row of Reapers making the finals. It's tough though, because the bracket has A1 Reapers second matchup. So if we see that, that would be a crazy semifinals matchup. And then a run it up versus ASAP semifinals is also going to be a crazy one if we all stick with like the favorites there. Even FTG ASAP at this point, with injuries and FTG kind of finally getting a full team, that matchup could be crazy. But yeah, if V2A does make it past the Reapers, I can't really see them making it past A1. Well, I definitely can't. I can't say I can't really. I definitely can't. But yeah, I can give a message from A1. We're going for the championship. So we're looking into each matchup, locked in. We're ready to go. I'm sure all these other teams are. Playoffs, it's going to be a fun playoffs, and then we got our All-Star week. That's always fun. So yeah, next week quarterfinals, it's going to be crazy. Shout out Jake, shout out Joe. First time, he did a great job. Shout out Davis, shout out DJ, shout out 110 Grill. As always, I'm your host Cade. I'll see you all in the next week episode. Peace.